y'all? Welcome to another review by Ryan. A very happy Wednesday to all of you. It is Wednesday, April 19th. I am very happy to be back with all of you. I hope you all are doing well wherever you're at in the world at the time you find this reaction. And welcome back to Oshi no Ko Wednesdays. It is time for episode 2 of the Oshi no Ko anime. So, a couple of things. First, as you saw in my video yesterday for my rating check-in, Oshi no Ko by an incredibly commanding margin did take my #1 spot. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, it would take an absolute catastrophe for it to get ousted out of that #1 spot at this current moment and rate of how it is doing compared to all of my other shows. But it is important to say it's only been one episode. And so I understand that now that we understand where the stakes are and we understand what this show is actually willing to do and not to do, it is very clear we are going to be in for a really, really turbulent and emotional ride. So I thank all of you for hanging in there with me last week. I didn't do really well at the end of the episode. I didn't even speak really for the minutes following the stabbing and the subsequent events. And then when they showed Ai's video of what she felt to her about her kids and what she wanted to do with her kids even after she was no longer an idol, it just really shook me to the absolute core. And it's just I can't begin to say enough praises. What a presentation. What an actual theatrical presentation, because that was a whole movie. 1 hour and 22 minutes, guys. You're joking. That's the longest introductory episode I think we've ever had in anime in history. And what I was told from people who've read the source is that they actually animated the entirety of the first volume of the Oshi no Ko series. I think that was an ingenious idea. I think that really was money well spent, time and energy well spent putting this together. There are no improvements I could have asked for from that first episode. It was a resounding 20 out of 10, and the entire community agrees that it was a resounding 20 out of 10, because at the time of this video, even though it has fallen a bit due to rate bombing, at the present moment, Oshi no Ko still is a 9.24 on Mal, which in one episode, now 2, has made it the most popular, the best rated show in history of Mal. Now, again, it's Mal, so don't expect it to stay there very long. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood fanboys is not going to let that happen, and they're going to nerf this show to hell as it goes along. But I love the energy from the community. I love the reception and dialogue that people had. People from all wakes of the anime life, people who have never watched anything idol-related or entertainment industry-based are watching this show. This show did everything it needed to do. Now, the story itself. Obviously, I've been idly prided again, and I'm not happy about that. I'm still very distressed about that, but I'm obviously a lot more calmer now so that I can get through today's reaction. Because now that the shocking revelations of Ai and unfortunately her demise, now that we know how things went down and we understand that for Aqua and Ruby that they are doing their best to move on with their lives, while particularly in Aqua's case, he wants to get back at the killer. This brings us to what I want to say is my first and what will probably be my biggest concern as we proceed through this anime. So, when you have a first episode that is so dynamic, so emotionally compelling, the music is just amazing, everything's amazing, and then you take a major character like that and you start another character that's left behind down a revenge arc, it can go one of two ways. They could write this in a way that it feels very naturally flowing and consistent with everything that happened, or you can have a situation where the purpose of the revenge tends to get completely thrown to the wayside, and now they're just actually craving for murder or whatever that situation may be. You guys saw the look in Aqua's eyes as he said he was going to get back at the father, who at the present moment is the highest suspect for being a murderer, because he's one of the only people who would have known Ai's location throughout the duration of this show. And unlike Ruby, who wants to try to carry on the legacy of her mama, of carrying on this new life that she was given, again, it's very important to remember that for Sarina, her backstory sucked ass. It was awful. She was disabled. She was never able to really move. She was never able to really function in society. She primarily lived at that hospital, and she died at that hospital, miserable, with her entire life stolen from her. So as a result of that, in this world, it was devastating. Her person that she had always looked up to, she just idolized her, and she loved her dearly. She loved her from the bottom of her heart. But as Aqua said, Ruby is very pure. Ruby is very all over the place, but Ruby is a good girl. And his thing was, he does believe with her personality that she will get through this. But he is beyond angry. He's already died once. And even though, yes, he also had this very crazy, this completely crazy attachment to I prior to the rebirth, he committed to making sure she was going to have a good pregnancy. And then even after he was reborn as her child, he committed to basically them being able to preserve her smile. And unfortunately, they were not able to do that. And for him particularly, in a way, this is just it's a failure twice. They failed once with the fact that they have these weird kids like them too, and then she actually lost her life to the very stalker who ended up killing him. So now that they've grown up, they're teenagers. I'm assuming they're in high school now, and now they're all going to be pursuing their passions. He's going to be pursuing theatrics. She's going to be pursuing being an idol. And we also saw that I think Kana's going to have a pretty major point in this also. My biggest thing is I want the story to stay consistent. Obviously, I'm with him. I'm just as angry as he is. I want that killer dead and gone. But I also want him to, live a good legacy for their mom. And I don't want him to get blinded by his own rage. Now, I understand that one person said in another comment board that I was in that, he never actually called I mom. He always called her I. He never referenced her as mom or mama like Ruby did. And I think that really shows a difference in personality and a difference in the acceptance of their new lives. Ruby, this was her chance to literally have a new, fresh life. And she was just purely, genuinely happy. And that was her mama. But for Aqua, it's a little more complicated. And I'm looking forward to seeing as those revelations unravels with his personality and what the end game is going to be when it comes to actually tracking down the murderer and why I basically had to lose her life. I did mention Kana, and she was the child prodigy that obviously got showed up by Aqua. I actually really am looking forward to seeing Aqua more, to seeing Kana more on screen, because I think she's going to have a lot more stuff going on with her in her emotions. And obviously she was really distraught. She immediately realized that she had been one-upped, and I can only assume that if they decided to ride with that as her past, she might have had a lot more setbacks since she has been a child prodigy, and she might actually be getting ready to struggle quite a bit in this high school environment, because as you know, being a child prodigy is one thing, but actually being able to survive in the big leagues is an entirely different thing. And then of course we do have a few new characters that have yet formally made their verbal introductions, even though we have physically seen them, because in the end of the episode last week, they did show all of the characters that are going to be at play and all the other girls. I am incredibly intrigued in and seeing how things go. So this is the way you start off a show like this. This is the way. This is the standard that I expect every single episode for Oshi no Ko to be. And now that I've had a week to let my emotions settle into the reality that we lost Ai and that now we have to watch an anime without her, it's going to be very difficult, but I'm very, very intrigued. What a hell of a way to start this show for us, and I'm just ready to see what episode 2 and beyond that has for us. So there's one more thing I did want to mention before I start, and I said last night that I was going to talk about this, the rape bombing situation. So at its highest peak, I think I saw Oshi no Ko get to a 9.38 before a whole flood of ones came in. And I want to put on screen the current statistics for Oshi no Ko via Mao. So as you can see in the statistics, there's 191,000 people watching. 93 people have allegedly completed it. Not sure how they did that. 1,800 plus have put it on hold. 1,380 have dropped. There's a zillion people that's planning to watch, and the total community count right now is 296,750. So if we're to get close to a 300,000 community count in just a single episode, that is just absolutely phenomenal, especially for a non-sequel related show, and just great stuff. But what I really want to point out is the score statistics. And as you can see, this is my fucking problem with this community. You do not have to like this type of genre. You do not have to like idol-based stuff. You do not have to like entertainment-based stuff. No issues with that. But this shit is a problem. Don't do this shit. Don't be this person. It's supposed to be a natural drop in rating. You know, how do we just skip the 6 to the 2s and then we go from 0.8, 0.4, 0.2, 0.3, and then there's 3.1% in the one category with almost 3,000 votes giving it a 1 star. I promise you that those 1 stars only watched the snippets on YouTube and did not actually watch the episode whatsoever. This same behavior, though, actually happens with every major show that goes against Full Metal Alchemist. As a matter of fact, it's one other show I want to put up on the screen. That's a show you all know very well. The final season of Attack on Titan. And in particular, this was for the most recent final episode. It is ranked at a 9.09 and number 3. But if you pull up the statistics, you also have that jump in the 0.28 there. And then actually that was not the one I wanted to actually show. The part 2 one, because the part 2 one I think is where I really saw the statistics all over the place. Part 2 for season 3 of Attack on Titan, you look at the statistics here, nope, it's not that one either. One of these ones had it where it was like, it was 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, 0.5, 0.2, 0.1, then you get to 1, and there's 40,000 dislikes. 40,000. We just completely skip all the other categories and it's just this random block. And this is why many people do not trust Mal for accurate rating of animes. Because you doofuses will go, and I'm not talking about you because you guys are amazing, but you doofuses that will watch this saying, I hate this show and I hate this reactor for talking about this show, you doofuses will go on here. You will say, I don't like entertainment and idol stuff. It shouldn't be in the number 1, and you will rate bomb it with a 1. That is a disservice, and you are the problem. Do better. That's all I got to say. Even shows that I personally don't watch. Like, obviously, I don't watch yaoi. Some of my friends around me love yaoi. But if I'm going to watch a show, I'm going to give it a grade that is appropriate for what it presents. I watched the Given series, for example, something that one of my friends really wanted me to watch because they loved the story. I gave it an 8 because I thought that was a genuinely good score to give that show based on how it was presented, including the movie. And I will always grade a show that I watch based on the merits of what that show is, not because I do or do not like a particular genre or theme. That is very immature, that is very childish, and you guys need to do better because that is not the way. So, Oshinoko still sits in number 1 for now, but as you know, if this show continues to stay in the top 1 spot, it is eventually going to get rate bombed down so that it falls below Full Metal Alchemist, and then they'll leave it alone. Because that is very typical for the Mal community, and the Mal community is very childish for that. And this is coming from someone who loves the Full Metal Alchemist series. I thought Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was a 10. It was a phenomenal series, and obviously it is one of the staples of anime watching. But it's okay when new shows come up and take over. That's perfectly fine. That shows that anime is continuing to So that's all I wanted to say. And with that, I am really stoked and excited to start episode 2. So give me just a moment to get the episode pulled up. I just finished getting it from my sourcer. And when I come back, we'll get this started. All right, I am back. It's time for episode 2. We now understand the stakes at play here. We understand that this is going to be a very deep and involved story that's going to really talk about the awful, toxic things that exist in the entertainment industry. And we're now going to be watching, ultimately, Aqua's Revenge. So, it is time for episode 2. The title of today's episode is Third Option. Let's go ahead and get this started in 3, 2, 1. Hey, it's time for the full opening! Hey! Also, I watched this music video like 10,000 times this past week, I swear. It's gonna be crazy watching their story though. Yo, and Ruby is going to be an absolute joy, I swear. She definitely takes after her mama. Ah, there she is. And I'm sure he looks at these lights in such a different way now. God, I'm gonna miss you not being in the show, man. This father got some damn explaining to do. That's all I got to say. It is such an Attack on Titan opening too. Like with this little segment with the song when the singing in the background. Oh man, such a good song. A certain large-scale idol auditioning for additional members. Jeez, 136. No way she loses. You just look at her and you know that she should be there. I'm so happy to see that she moved on, though, wanting to follow after her mom, even after how awful everything was. Right, because no one knows that she was her child. It's been so long. Like, it's a reason that she had such a deep attachment. And they showed it from the other side, because I think it showed it from the other angle when he woke up. Like he said, she's really pure. And there he is. Girl, you better not be that way. Please don't be dumb. I'm so done with you already. Please don't. Yeah, please listen to him. Yeah. And this is true. They have no choice. It's just not profitable enough. But she just wants to be. Right, because he ended up working, well, learning under that director that he asked to raise him. I mean, he was on the other side of the door. That man was devastated. And I'm just happy that you didn't have to see. Oh, he wants him dead. That's what he wants. Oh, he didn't recover. Ah, VTubers. Damn, I'm so sad to see he was so devastated he couldn't continue. And he tried to have the drink that he wanted to have with her. Damn, just so many people were affected by her loss. It's so hard to come. Hey, but her child's right there. Oh, that's right. I wonder. Did she get it? Damn. It's so damn hard. Or did she? Damn. It's okay. I mean, and literally, it's like she said, it sucks to say it that way. I was just such a one in a million person. It's okay, Ruby. Please don't do this to me right now. Ruby, please don't do this to me right now. Please don't do this to me right now. It's gonna be okay, my girl. It's gonna be okay, my girl. Don't do this. It is. Don't do this to me. Oh, man. I know he was so shocked when he walked up and was like, please raise me. But she's not fooled. She knows something is up. Wait, he interfered? Oh, come on, Aqua. Aqua, come on. I I get it, but come on, man. He Oh fuck. I knew he was gonna interfere. I knew he was gonna interfere. I can't blame him, but come on, Aqua. He interfered with the damn results. Oh man, if she finds out, she's gonna hate you, bruh. Oh hell no! Hell no! Don't do it! Don't do it! I mean, there's no one that wouldn't scout you. Alright. No trust. And I can't blame them at all. I mean, they will both be protective. It's just Aqua's went a step too far. He shouldn't have been interfering like that. Well, I mean, since you're fucking with her ability to be able to go regularly, I get it, man, but come on. But I can't see her cry, so please just. I don't want to see neither one of you cry, but come on, my dude. Okay, that also confirms that they did split separately. They still see each other all the time, but she raised her and the director raised him. So, okay. I wasn't sure if that's exactly how it ended up going down. I'm done. I'm done. I'm so done. So he's just gonna become one of them. She's like, well, what money? Which is typical with industry standards. All right. He gonna say we'll offer it all to you. That is awful. That ain't nothing. Also typical. Oh boy. I wondered what he offered as a counter. Right, but not actually caring about the people that they're working with or their standard of living. And they, but see, those girls, I'm sure, knew that, which they knew I was the main point of attention. As sucky as it is to say that, he's just doing. He's not. He's dead serious, and he's just doing too much. I mean, I don't blame him one bit for wanting to protect her, but you need to talk to her. Now y'all have this lack of communication with her, and you've changed so much. It never works out. It never works out. Dang. And she changed so much from what she wanted to be until now. And for the better or worse. I'm not gonna lie, why did I think of Kaguya for the Kaguya on the show for a moment? Even the glimmer in her eye is really starting to look like I more than anything. They'll sponsor her. They'll open it back up. They'll open it back up. They'll open back up to idols and let her be the headliner. Okay, I'm much better with that than y'all just stifling her dream altogether because my man was literally getting ready to shut everybody in the underground down. And the great having to use stamps for everything. Gotta sue your own daughter. You wouldn't do such a thing. She's probably the only one he would trust, even though he's still definitely against it. You know, I wonder how this director's been doing since we saw him so long ago. Yeah, because of labor laws and all that. Okay, so he's just going to focus more on the production side than working in it? No, no, they said because he can't work. So, okay, so he is going to work behind the scene. Oh, very interesting. So he's just going to do all the behind the scenes stuff as he tries to investigate into her death. Seeing her face like that is just so awful. It doesn't exactly have to be on stage. Yeah. I mean, not lying in a way, he kind of has a similar thought process to how I do. I like working behind the scenes on a lot of stuff too, than being front and center. Damn, he was getting ready to spit some solid knowledge. Like, however, what he was about to say is absolutely true, and unfortunately, so far, I can tell that Aqua's really going down that path I don't want him to go down. He hasn't smiled or been happy in over 10 years now, and it's awful. I'm so worried about him right now. Don't do that to your mama like that. Listen, he's absolutely true. And that is the most important, especially when someone like that is your mother. He hasn't recovered. And that's really where it comes from. He hasn't recovered. And he handled this far worse than Ruby did. So unfortunate. He still calls her because she's... Mama don't care about nothing. And so he really did stick with just general education. Oh, bruh! Jeez, my man is smart! There she is! Yep, the one who showed you up so long ago. Oh, boy! Yes! Oh. Damn, she was really excited for you to be there too. Dang, you might have to go now, bruh. I say go ahead. Stop playing yourself, man. Oh, man. Uh-oh. And now we got a new ending. All right, let's see here. I like how I said new ending like we've had an ending. This is the first ending. Oh. Oh, I need to watch the sound. I can't get copyrighted. I just thought about it. Oh, man. And they're going to show all the snippets at the end. Oh. I'm really scared about how far Aqua. Wow, with the star at the end in the darkness. I'm really scared how far this man is gonna go. Like Aqua has already shown tendencies that he's willing to do whatever's necessary, even if that means completely shutting down his own sister's dreams and aspirations to get back at the father and basically, hopefully, to put an end to this industry as a whole. Because I really think that this goes even deeper than just him trying to get back to the father. All right, let me make sure no issues with the recording, and I'll be back for post thoughts. All right, guys. So a couple of thoughts about this episode, and again, after the first episode and just how incredibly engaging and just all over the place it was, we now calm down a little bit to start setting the premise of the actual full story. Again, I really do want to treat episode 1 as if it was its own entity, like how basically episode 0 might be for some series, and that this episode is actually now the beginning of the story that we're going to be following to the end. As Aqua himself stated back at the conclusion of the first episode where he mentioned that Ruby was going to probably be okay, she would move forward, but him on the other hand, he had saw firsthand just how awful this industry was as a whole, what this industry did to his mama, and basically what it does to people who may have something more than they do, and just the toxicity of the industry as a whole. And so the way that Aqua and Ruby took and went about the rest of their life as they grew through being, younger kids to now being adolescents and getting ready for high school and figuring out what their future careers is going to be. They've taken many, many different paths. So, really one major difference in path. He never recovered from Ai's death. Ruby, she has. She's still heartbroken by her death, but she plans to live a good legacy and to leave something great behind to show that everything her mama did will not die. And Ruby wants to be the thing that she knows she can be, that her mama said she can be. And Ruby really is as pure as it comes with her personality. This is her chance and ability to be able to live a new life, to do all the things she was not able to do in her previous life. And she is just really excited for this. And she's hitting roadblocks. And unfortunately, as we found out, many of those roadblocks in the early stages was none other than by her brother, Aqua. Because Aqua is trying to do everything possible to make sure his sister does not meet the same demise that his mother did. Unfortunately, he is doing things that, while I fully understand why those things are being done, I can't particularly sit here and say I fully agree with those things. Again, I don't want to see Ruby crying. I really, really don't. I don't want to see either of them heartbroken anymore after everything that they went through with the loss of Ai in that last episode. Literally, this was a lot more of a settled scene when she got the phone call that she didn't make it into the agency, and basically better luck next time. We look forward to your future application. We now know that's because Aqua interjected something, but even something right there, this is how I know that I'm really, really invested into the characters here and into this story, because something like that almost had me. Actually, I did for a moment. I felt some water starting to steam up in my eye over here, and it's just because I just want them to be happy at this point. It's bad enough we now have to go the rest of this show without Ai being here with us. And, I really do like the thoughts that the director was saying, despite him constantly being interrupted by his mother. But I really do like the thoughts that he was saying to Aqua as they were having their talk later in the episode. And, it's a very textbook thing that you have to understand. We cannot be another person. You cannot be your sibling. One friend cannot be another friend, and sometimes the children cannot be the idol, and the idol cannot be the children, as is the case here. Everyone is different. I was a 1 in a million person that comes along and she just oozes confidence and sex appeal and just beauty to the max. And she's a 1 in a million chance. You get once in a million talents like that. But sadly, many people have to really work from the ground up. And of course, that includes her children too. Now, with that said, her children definitely glimmer off. Like in Ruby's case, she is an absolutely beautiful and stunning girl. And she's going to go places in the entertainment industry as an idol, while trying to continue that legacy that her mom left in Strawberry Productions before her demise. And for Aqua, he has the absolute ability of theatrics. He has the intelligence, and again, he got accepted to Tokyo Medical, and you all know why he would get accepted. The man was a doctor. So, and obviously you already know what doctors go through to get to the stages in their career that they go through. So that they get to. So for Aqua, it makes complete sense that man is a genius and he shouldn't even be at a school like that. But as Ruby said, Aqua has not smiled or seemed genuinely happy from the bottom of his heart since the loss of his mother. And I really do believe that comes down to the fact that he was in her arms. Her blood was on her hands, smothered over his face as the last bit of life left her eyes and she passed at that doorway. And fortunately for Ruby, Ruby was on the other side of the door. And I know that they made it so that you could see what Ruby looked like. They made it look like in the last episode that Ruby actually could see her physically, but I don't think that door could be seen through. And I do not believe Ruby actually saw any of the blood until after the fact, and anything regarding her mother actually losing the life in her eyes and dying. So her reaction to thinking back on her mother's death and Aqua's reaction to thinking back on his mother's death is very different things. And it also may come down to the perspective that for Ruby, she saw her really as her mama. And for Aqua, he's thinking on a higher level than just her being his parent or not. He never did state, call her mom or anything like that. He's always been thinking at a much higher level. And right now, he's filled with rage. He's filled with anger against the person who killed his mom. He's feeling anger against the entertainment industry that never gets a shit. You saw that after a couple of days, the entirety of Japan moved about life as if nothing ever happened. And they were just left distraught with a mom that they were never even able to say they were the kids of, because she couldn't disclose that. And now a father who clearly has set something up in order for their mom to end up losing her life. So this episode sadly has confirmed everything I already anticipated, which is I don't want Aqua going down this path that he's about to go through to mess up his relationship that he has with Ruby. I also want to make it very clear here that for the remainder of this show, I will not say girl or Sarna unless there is a story-related reason for saying that. They are now the children of I, and so I will always reference them as Aqua and Ruby unless there is a story reason to do so. But I don't want him going down this path. I don't want to see Ruby crying. I don't want to see Aqua going down this path. And I gotta say, I'm very happy to see that the director all these years apparently has been trying to keep him above water, trying to keep him motivated, telling him that it's too soon to give up on the dreams that you may have. You can see in his eyes he wants to be an actor, but he doesn't want to end up in the same boat that his mom does. You know from the bottom of your heart that he loves Ruby. He loves this life that he's been given again to be able to live and exist with Ruby. He knows Ruby is pure to a fault. He wants her to be safe. He wants her to be protected. But we've seen these type of things play out in other shows in the past, and you know how this type of stuff goes. And someone like Ruby would never forgive him if she found out that he was messing with her dream because of the fact he's trying to protect her. I don't think Ruby is stupid, but I think Ruby also wants to prove that, we don't let bullies, we don't let murderers, we don't let people who try to take other people's happiness away get the better of us. We rise above that occasion and we make our own magic and our own legacy, even if these people are sitting in the shadows. And what I'd like to see is for them to talk with each other. It's clear he has not really had that open up with her since everything's transpired. They were raised, while they obviously see each other all the time. He was raised with the director. She was raised with the wife that sadly we found out our poor guy never recovered from I's loss, and he just couldn't continue, and they had to dismantle their idol agency, after a very short amount of time. And it's just so devastating seeing all of the effects, the ripple effects that I's death had. There are people that exist in the world that really just have that type of influence on you. And it's just awful seeing how many people were hurt and distraught by that loss. But this is a case where Aqua and Ruby need each other. And I really, really, really don't want Aqua going down a path where Ruby's going to end up hating him because he's doing something that may not even honor their mother's legacy in the way that their mother would have wanted her legacy to be honored. She wants her kids to be great. We saw in that video when they were celebrating their 1-year birthday. She just wanted to retire as an idol and be able to have a drink with her children when they were of age. And it's just the simple things in life. And while there's so much about I that we don't know and we will probably never know, we obviously are going to really be digging into the past of the father, how the father even became engaged with I to start with. And as that goes along, I think this story is definitely going to get more twisted, more darker, and we're going to have a lot of revelations to go. I'm definitely happy to see Kana back, and it seems Kana is very happy to see Aqua back, and she would like Aqua to actually also join the performing arts side of things because we know he's going to be a phenomenal actor, and and that's what he's good with. And again, they're the children of I. They're going to be great at what they do. But also, she had a lot of respect, it appears, after she got completely shown up when they were child actors and they did that film. So I'm very interested to see more of that, and I again look forward to seeing the other characters as they appear throughout this series. So that's my thoughts in a nutshell here. Again, as I'm going to do with every episode, I'm going to watch this episode a second time after I wrap up this recording, just to catch things that I might have missed here. This is again going to be a constantly evolving series, a series where the most smallest of things may end up having critical aspects later in the series. So if there is something I missed, I'll make sure to share it in my introductory segment for next week's episode. So that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you did like the reaction, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And if you want to be one of the first to be notified when a new reaction becomes available, hit the bell icon. Last thing I want to say, opening and ending song, the opening and ending song, absolutely amazing. Of course, for those who do not remember, the opening song is called Idol, and the ending song is called Mephisto. Mephisto. So, yeah, both are really great songs. Obviously, the opening song is, of course, gonna just be completely overpowering most other songs this entire season because of just how tremendous it is. But I love both songs. I'm actually gonna go back to look at the lyrics for the ending song too, because just like how the opening song was literally telling a play-by-play story about how I felt to how the community felt about her and then about her children, I'm sure that this ending song also had certain points that were really describing, and probably in this case, how Aqua is feeling. And I'll go and see the lyrics and see if I was right or wrong about that a little later. So thanks so much for joining me, guys, for another Wednesday. And until the next Oshi no Ko reaction, catch you later.